Yvette Young had a meltdown online. And I don't mean like, oops, I spilled the tea on my keyboard kind of meltdown, more like emotionally scorched earth in the comments section kind of meltdown, all over one fan's opinion. It was a little intense. But here's the thing, I love Yvette. I've been following her for years. The first time I supported her was all the way back in 2015 when I bought one of her songs on Bandcamp. I have the receipts. I love the song Parachute from her band Covet, and I even know how to play it on guitar. Her music means something to me. Her playing style, her presence, her personality. She's a bright light in the music scene. So this video is coming from a place of respect and confusion because I watched this whole exchange go down and I kept thinking, wait, that's the comment that set this off? That? I would love for you to be my friend today as we have a discussion about artists' responsibility in defending their work, the extremely easy access artists have to fans nowadays, and where's the line between freedom of expression for critique and art and how that's all balanced. The whole thing started when someone left a comment on Yvette's new music video. You used to write music without words, and it touched my soul with its complex form and interesting sound. Your old works were a breath of fresh air, and they helped me hold on in the most difficult moments. Unfortunately, your current work, although it has words, has become silent for me. Now, is this comment a little melodramatic? Yeah, probably. But honestly, so many comments on songs on YouTube are like this. For this comment, it was someone expressing their own personal taste and emotion about her older instrumental work hit them deeper than her new material. They're not going off saying you suck now or go back to doing what I want. They're just sharing how it feels to them. And if anything, I feel this comment is respectful. The first half of it was expressing how the music has really touched them and helped them through hard times. I read it and thought to myself, oh, okay, another fan going through the classic artist evolution grief cycle. Denial, sadness, YouTube comment. They were really expressing how they feel, but I can understand how someone can take it as a negative comment. But I'm mostly mixed about it, leaning towards it's a harmless comment. But Yvette responds to this comment on YouTube. Pro tip. Have you tried turning up the volume? Okay, spicy, a little sassy, I'll allow it, but then she keeps going. No, but seriously, I usually don't respond to stuff like this, but I'm so fed up of people feeling like they own the sound of artists and can tell them what to do. Wanna know what's cool? All that art I made that were breaths of fresh air to you, that I put online basically for free, that's still there for you to enjoy. Those pieces are all still there for your most difficult days. Want to know what I need from you? The freedom to do whatever the hell I want with my art and follow what excites me. Today I made music with lyrics. Tomorrow I might want to make a ska album. Next year I might want to make ambient drones. This is what helps me through my most difficult moments. I make art for survival and for my own personal joy. So let me have my peace and you can freely enjoy the fruits of that and stop complaining. It's extra and I frame it as a meltdown. She's explaining that her older music is still out there. She's evolving as an artist. She might even make a ska album tomorrow and fans just need to let her be. I'm reading the comments saying, yeah, all of that is true. Artists should have the freedom to evolve. They don't owe us anything. We don't get to program their creativity like it's a vending machine, like build a band. But also that original comment that sparked this response didn't sound like it was demanding anything. It was just someone processing change. They didn't say you betrayed me. They were saying this new version of your art doesn't connect with me like the way the old stuff did. And that's just life. You grow, your audience changes, people drift in and out. It's the nature of making things and sharing them publicly. So I don't know what kind of day Yvette was having, but it felt like she brought a flamethrower to a candlelight vigil. But the whole thing doesn't end there. She decided to screenshot the exchange and post on Facebook saying, artists don't make products for you to pick apart and custom order. We aren't fast food restaurants, and so on. You can read on screen now. Again, I agree with her sentiment. Art isn't transactional, but also artists post art on the internet where people talk about it. What did she think was gonna happen? You can listen, but only if you feel positive feelings about it. That's not how this works. And the wild thing about this that she didn't include in her Facebook post that I saw when I went to the original comment on YouTube is the person who made the original comment actually apologized in a reply. They responded respectfully and clarified their intentions. We are on the internet. There is such a thing as freedom to express an opinion, quotes, in theory, and I have the right to express mine, as do you. However, to be fair, I do not forbid you anything and do not tell you what to do and what music to write. This is your right and no one will take it away from you. My job as a once loyal listener is to say what I think about current creativity. Your job is either to accept it and draw conclusions or to ignore it. And if you are so offended by the opinions of strangers on the internet, then perhaps you should not post music in the public domain. I apologize if I sounded rude. In any case, I want to say thank you for all those works that I listened to this day. They're being a little punchy, a little forceful, stating things that are clearly understood by most people, but at the end of the comment, they actually did apologize. But Yvette still posted that comment on her Facebook page to make a larger point, which, okay, that's fine. But it started feeling less about defending herself and more like picking a fight that doesn't need to be picked. It feels performative, like she wanted a villain to rally against, and this random fan just happened to be standing there with a slightly wistful opinion. Here's a deeper conversation we should have. Should artists be allowed to speak up and defend themselves? Of course, 100%, they're human. But is it wise to engage like this, especially when you already have a huge platform? That's the thing. When you screenshot someone's comment and put it on your socials, you're putting a spotlight on them. You're inviting your audience to join in. Even if you don't directly say, go after this person, the tone sets the mood. And it's ironic because Yvette's whole message was, let artists express themselves freely. The fan was doing that exact thing, expressing how they feel about the music. So I'm trying to figure out where the line is. If you want freedom as an artist, we also have to accept the reality that people will feel differently than we do. And they're gonna say it. It's not always hate. Sometimes it's just honest feedback that doesn't flatter us. And that doesn't mean it's toxic. Honestly, her reaction, it made her look insecure, which sucks because she has nothing to prove. She's incredibly talented. She's doing things most guitarists can't even think about doing. She's in a complete league of her own. But now this whole exchange has people focusing on a tiny moment of criticism instead of the actual music she worked so hard to make. Maybe she was just having a bad day. Maybe that comment was the straw that broke the camel's back after a barrage of other criticisms. But in isolation, it feels blown out of proportion. And the fact that she mentions her artist friends appreciating her clap back, that's cool, but it feels like an echo chamber. Yvette has great takes about artistic freedom and the pressures that artists have to face every day. But I can't help but think, what if this energy, this passion, this frustration, what if she took that and expressed it through music? Imagine taking that raw emotion and channeling it into a brand new song. That would be amazing. That would be a giant middle finger to comments like this. And she's using her creativity to express that. The reality is the vast majority of comments on her new music video are overwhelmingly positive. It's flooded with people loving it and enjoying it. 90% plus love what she's doing. But focusing on that one negative comment, even if it struck a nerve, feels a bit like scanning a stadium full of cheering fans to find that one person who's yawning. Why give the negativity so much airtime? Why not shine a spotlight on the love and support? The whole situation has got me thinking about how we handle criticism, especially online. Sometimes the instant reaction, that urge to type out fiery responses, isn't always the best course of action. One way I handle this that I've learned in my life, and trust me, I've had my fair share of questionable online transactions, is the power of the unsent message. What I started doing is if I get a critical email or comment on my videos, I'll type out this whole elaborate scathing reply, pour out all of my emotions and indulgences into it, and then I'll just delete it. I know it sounds weird, but it's cathartic to get it out of my system without actually unleashing it onto the world. 9 times out of 10, a few hours later, I'll look back and think about it and be like, Man, I'm glad I didn't send that. That would have been overreacting. I reread the email and I say to myself, wow, I am so happy I didn't send that. The last part I want to discuss, what is the barrier between artist and fan? Back in the day, before social media, the only way you could interact with an artist is by going to their shows. You would see them in music videos, you would see them talk in interviews, but you never had direct access to them. Nowadays with social media, it's one swipe away to be able to have access to these artists, to talk to them, and sometimes they even respond. It's amazing to have this access to be able to communicate with artists without these big barriers. But how much responsibility do artists have in terms of how they respond? Do they respond to every comment? Do they respond to every DM? Do they have a manager read their stuff and filter it for them? Based on this exchange, Yvette was able to talk directly to the person commenting about her music and say what she's thinking in her head. But at what price? There is an allure to artists you can't access. You have this kind of parasocial relationship and you really love them and enjoy them. And it's happened with me that I love an artist's music or a band's music, and then I start learning about the artists themselves, and maybe if they're not a good person, I won't like their music as much. And this translates to being able to communicate with fans one-on-one through the internet. Should you engage with your fans directly like this? And how should you engage? Should you kind of talk like a PR robot, just giving generic responses? I've seen artists do that. Do you not engage at all? Or do you just show them your heart like Yvette did? Who knows what the right answer is? I want to know your thoughts. What do you think? Was Yvette justified in responding the way that she did? Was the fan out of line? Am I overanalyzing a YouTube comment like it's sacred text? Do you think Yvette should have posted that exchange on Facebook? Do you think she should have included the apology that the original poster said? Let me know your thoughts about all of this. Because you're my friend, I genuinely want to know how it sits with you. Now, if you're an artist or a fan, just remember, we're all just trying to connect with each other. Love, empathy, and kindness can go a long way online. I ultimately feel that's what Yvette was asking for, understanding and respect for her artistic journey. But I'm not sure this particular online exchange was the most effective way to convey it. Think about it like this. Maybe the next time someone critiques your art, just turn up the volume.